So recently I had a donation goal, and one of the goals was that if I hit like $100 or $200, I would do an advanced Lance guide. Luckily we hit that goal, so now I'm making good on that promise. I recently did this on stream, but I didn't really like how disorganized it felt to me in my head, so I decided to do it off stream in order to like make it a better guide. That being said, I do want to make a quick disclaimer that this is just a focus on my personal tactics of how I play Lancelot, not how Kosame plays Lancelot, not Fukunaga, Vanitas, Zenzri, no, just how I personally play Lancelot. And in order to explain this better, we're going to be going over 3 main topics. The topics that we'll be discussing are meter management, character approaches, and the art of strike throw. Before we even get into anything, I should introduce this idea of stage markers. And what a stage marker is for me is essentially this idea of how close I am to the corner. And by knowing and identifying these stage markers, I can determine whether I'm going to be using Blade Impulse to extend my combo or whether I should just end my combos with EX Rekka. That knight that you see on the right hand corner is my stage marker. That tells me that if I start my auto combo and finish it and end in Blade Impulse, I should be close enough to hit the wall in the corner. Allow me to demonstrate. I'm going to use light auto combo just for the sake of not trying to create as much pushback as possible. That's the importance of a stage marker. Stage markers vary from stage to stage, so it's very important that you familiarize yourself with the stages and their markers in order to optimize your combos. But since 9 times out of 10 everyone plays on Coliseum, just look for the knights in the background. I feel like this should go without saying, but just to be very explicit in my explanation, if I don't see a stage marker, I'm usually ending my combos in Rekka. If I see the stage marker, I'm extending my combos by using Blade Impulse. So, as you can see here, there's no stage marker, so I'll end my combos with EX Rekka. It's very straightforward how I play Lancelot, honestly. In terms of meter management, which is a frequently asked question, I usually just play for the corner. Whatever gets me the corner in the easiest fashion is the route that I'm going to do. So in a situation like this where I'm mid-screen, I have no markers, but I have 50 meter, I'll spend Ult Fireball. And now I have the corner. Because this is where I want to be, right? But alternatively, if I find myself closer to the corner, I'll spend Ult Blade Impulse. Because my objective is to always put my opponent in the corner. It doesn't matter how I do it, it just matters that I get it done. Now, you can argue that there's some flexibility, like if you get a counter hit close H on how you want to go about it, because you can do this and get the corner. Or alternatively, you can do this. And this way you get your 25 meter back. It doesn't really matter. At least to me. The goal is just, again, to get the corner. If you want to spend the 50 meter and use Ult Blade Impulse and get 25 back, you can do that. If you don't want to spend the 50 meter and you just want to use 5U, 6U to swap sides with the opponent, that's also viable as well. Just a reminder, guys, just because I'm saying I do this does not mean that you have to do it. I just like things to be streamlined and convenient, which is ultimately why I do the stuff that I do. So even if it comes doing a route like this, oh look, it's our stage marker that we identified in the background. And because we identified our stage marker, and because we were a distance from the corner, we get a whole new route that we wouldn't have done if we were just point blank in the corner. Identify your stage marker, guys. So there is another way I like to spend my meter, and it's usually to create killing situations instead of situations where I can kill, because I feel like a lot of Lancers like to lean to the latter, where they'll spend all their resources and then try to kill and then not kill, right? And it's kind of limited in thinking, I guess, because you're just setting your meter to a specific use when it can be a lot more varied with its usage. So I spent 100 meter there to not kill along with 2 bravery points, right? Now I can create the same situation or a better situation arguably by not spending any bravery points, still spending 100 meter, and then creating a situation in which I can kill. And it's not like I have to go for the grab there either, right? I can shimmy you, I can immediately fireball you. It's really just to make your health low enough where to be like, oh shit, the next hit will kill. I don't know what to do, and possibly panic and try to do something that I shouldn't be doing. That's the other way I'd use my meter as well. When it comes to matchups, I try to like categorize every character that I'm fighting in a specific way that makes it kind of streamlined and simple in order to how I want to fight them, right? So when it comes to Shotos, I can literally play every Shoto the same to some degree. And that is, how am I fighting around their fireball? Because their fireball is typically the tool that they're going to be using to try and keep me out. So when it comes to the first 5 characters in that category, which is Gran, Jita, Catalina, Sandolphin, and Bellio, all of their fireballs can be slid under with 2U, which is great, right? It makes everything easier because it's just like, oh, they have a tool that they want to use to keep me out. And if they try to use that tool to keep me out, they risk being punished for it. So they have to be really mindful of where they're throwing out their fireballs. In comparison, Siegfried, Percival, and Beatrix, I can't slide under their fireball, which makes me have to use Turbulence as a more, I guess, riskier option, but it's still an option that's there nonetheless. And even if you remove Turbulence, specifically to Siegfried and Percival, because they have larger normals, which typically mean they have more recovery, it makes it easier to like play around it in the case of them trying to whiff or them trying to like hit me at a further range, and now they're more susceptible to being whiff punished. Or I could just jump now, because if they throw out a normal and I time my jump, I get to punish them on the recovery. Beatrix, she's the best of all four. She has a fireball that I cannot sweep under, and she has very quick normals. Nerf this character, please. When it comes to the next category of Rushdown Plus, it really just means go full throttle, no brakes. Just keep pumping the gas and pressure them until they either fold or like make a bad decision, whether they want to ult DP or press a button. Like, this is when you want to be frame trapping, stealing your turn as much as possible. You really just want to put them in the driver's seat and just say, you got to make the decision, because otherwise I'm gonna crash. And I figured this works best because it's just like a whole bunch of zoners or characters who excel at space control, with the exception being like Luane. But otherwise, that's pretty much how I play every character in this category. Just non-stop action. I'll even do dumb shit like M Rekka and then press close H, because I'm like, if you're afraid that I'm gonna follow up with the second Rekka, I'm gonna steal my turn anyways. And I gotta make sure that you're not delayed mashing, so why not give you like an 11 frame gap to see what you're working with? Let's see what type of decisions you make under pressure like this. So yeah, I just go full throttle. Rushdown minus is the same as Rushdown plus, except I have to be way more mindful about how I'm rushing down, because these characters have some way of like just making me stop in my tracks. I have to either walk and build meter in order to like choose my spots more carefully, or I have to use turbulence in like specific spots, or it's some matchup dependent thing that makes me say, okay, I can't just go full throttle from the jump. And that's fine, right? In this game, walking builds meter just as well as running. In fact, I think walking builds meter better than if you ran, honestly. So it doesn't really hurt to just take the chip, walk, build a little 50 meter, because then when you get that 50 meter, you have access to like one of Lance's best whiff punishing tools in Alt Plate Impulse. And that could be used to whiff punish quite a bit of annoying things from these characters in these tiers. So just gotta chill out, play it smooth, play it calm, and then when you get the knockdown, rub your face across your stick. Okay, now for cat and mouse, it's pretty straightforward. None of these characters have fireballs, and their effective range is essentially the same range that I want to be playing at, but I'm gonna use the fact that I have a fireball to at least make it a little bit annoying for them to approach me, because I would hate to like approach these characters with like no backup or no protection, and now they just start steamrolling the fuck out of me. So I'll put fireball on the screen just to like be like, okay, let's see how you interact with the fireball. Are you gonna jump? Are you gonna block? Are you gonna roll? Are you gonna dodge? And then start making decisions from there. It's really straightforward with cat and mouse. Just fireball on the screen, and then see how your opponent interacts with the fireball, and then start making your little adaptations from there. Abort is very simple. I do not play this matchup with Lancelot. I try to avoid this matchup with Lancelot, honestly. I typically play Percival for this one matchup. Abort. So if you've made it to this part, you're probably ready to learn about Strike Throw. And this part is kind of easy to explain to some degree because the game caters to aggression. And because it caters to aggression, it doesn't really allow passive play, or rather people who just like to sit there and block. People will exercise whatever defensive option they can do just so it means they don't have to block, whether it's brave countering, whether it's DPing, whether it's pressing a button, all because they just don't want to block. So when you take that into account, my style of play is just allowing people to essentially kill themselves because they don't want to block. And if you ever watch me play, the people who usually do the best against me are the people who are willing to block and take the throw. In terms of like strike throw, right? You just want to put the idea into their mind that at any moment they can be thrown or they can be hit, right? And I don't want to go over the simple shit like, oh, close end is 0 on block, so you can just grab because they're scared that you might frame trap, right? Or you can just like EX Rekka and then grab again because, you know, they're scared of the next Rekka. Now I want to go over like a little bit more complex things, right? So what I mean complex is really simple, honestly, because you can just create this condition anywhere the moment you get EX Blade Impulse in the corner. But we're gonna like expand on it a bit more, right? So everyone knows this basic routing, right? Right. From this routing, the world is your oyster. You throw in whatever creativity you want to put into it and try to make the opponent fearful of their life, right? So I'll demonstrate like 4 options that I like to do. So option 1 is fake fireball. They see the fake fireball, they're like, oh, I want to block, and then you grab it. Really simple, right? Alternatively, you can do this. Make the fireball real, and this is usually around the time where like, oh, they've thrown fake fireball so many times I want to mash, and now they're getting hit with an actual fireball, and now I'm plus 18, I gotta confirm. All right, but if you don't want to use a fireball, because I've definitely heard some complaints about going against fireball, I will show you what I prefer, right? +6, right? And I'm in your face as Lancelot. From +6, you have a whole bunch of fucked up options that you can do, and I have a demo prepared later for you guys to see how I use it in like actual combat. But a lot of times I'll just backdash. Honestly. Why would I backdash? Because I feel like they're gonna press a button. They're either gonna press a button, they're gonna try and throw me, they're gonna try and raging strike, and I have an assortment of clips where I can demonstrate either one of these options happening. But the idea is just like, oh, I backdash, I'm out of harm's way, I see what they did, I react accordingly, and I punish them for it. And I repeat the process. But now this time I'm actually gonna grab you. All right. The 4th option, this is one that I've recently started enjoying doing. This is probably like one of the few ways I will spend meter. I don't think I need to expand on that one. You guys could have fun with that. You could either threaten the double high, you can threaten high low, you can threaten empty jump low. Again, when you get your opponent in the corner and you're playing Lancelot, you just want to be creative as possible and just figure out however we want to open up your opponent, and just keep the idea of they either have to guess between me hitting them or me throwing them. And at this point, since you're already in the corner, ball the fuck out. But now I'm gonna prepare this demo for you guys to see how I do it in actual matches. Okay, so I managed to play a bit of rank today, and I ran into a really notable and prominent player within the community. Someone who's been playing the game since vanilla, so he has no excuse to not know the matchup. And he also, unfortunately, happens to be my teammate. So I'm gonna use a bit of our ranked set to explain my thought process towards the game and try to tie it into the things that I've mentioned prior. Cool. I'm talking about Xerom, obviously. So as I mentioned earlier, when I'm playing a Charlotta player, the main idea is to try and put fireballs on the screen because they don't have a fireball, and see how they interact with the fireball, right? So I put a fireball on the screen, they try to M-Demon flip over it. I'm already running behind the fireball, which means I am not going to get hit by this attack, which means I get a punish. Now, as I mentioned beforehand, a lot of this game is catered towards aggression, and in that response, it means they don't want to be on defense. So now, technically, Xerom could have just blocked this, right? But Xerom opts to roll and gets punished for it. I have 100 meter. I don't see the stage marker, which is, I believe, Anila on this stage. So I'm going to spend 50 meter here to get to the corner as quickly as possible. And now that I have my stage marker, I do Blade Impulse. I put a meaty fireball on the screen just to see what they do, right? Because, you know, it's all about weighing what their options are. They blocked the fireball. They didn't try to DP me. I'm like, okay, cool. They're willing to block. So let me see if I can sneak in a grab. They tech. And now we just go back to neutral. Here, I'm in the corner. I get a counter hit 5H. I'm in the corner, but I got a counter hit 5H. What does that mean? You're in the corner now. And I just get my side switch. Now, the key thing to note here is after doing this, they pressed nothing. So I'm like, okay, so maybe I have a chance to like sneak in a grab the next time I get this position going. Or maybe I should just go for a cheekier reset or cheekier delay. I get grabbed into the corner. So here's a very interesting one. So I have the stage marker here, right? But because of how I got the hit, I won't get the wall bounce. But I was very close. So I spend the other cooldown. Failed counter hit confirm. Again, I did turbulence. Xerom could have DP'd, Xerom could have blocked, but Xerom chose to do something aggressive and then die for it. Well, not die for it, but, you know, get punished for it. Stage marker was already present, so it doesn't hurt to do Blade Impulse. Did you see it? Xerom whiffed the grab. Why did they whiff a grab? Because they were afraid of being grabbed. But in response to that, now they're going to take a heftier combo or take more damage by whiffing the grab than they would have just by eating the grab. And that's next round. So now they're pressuring me. I'm getting grabbed. They whiffed. I don't know why they're whiffing with Charlotta as like she's playing Percival, but he whiffed. I get my little combo. Just a reminder. The stage marker is barely visible. That doesn't work. The stage marker needs to be fully visible on the screen in order for me to do Blade Impulse. So because of that, EX Raka. Cute little cheeky reset. Well, frame kill, I guess. They're blocking. They're still blocking. I should have grabbed at this point, but I'm just like, let me see how long they're willing to block. And I died. At this point, this is 1-0 Xerom, and we're both on final round. Again, meaty fireball. I mean, not meaty fireball. I'm just putting a fireball on the screen. See how they deal with it. You notice how, like, after I put the fireball on the screen and they blocked it, they still pressed the button? That's important to know. Because it means that at some point they may block another fireball and press the button again. That would confirm. I'm getting fucked up. Xerom drops the combo. I mash. And I use alt blade impulse to get out the corner. Meaty fireball. This time they take the grab, right? Last time they teched, but this time they were willing to take the grab. So I'm like, okay, let's see what happens next. Yikes. They were not willing to take a second grab. And again, instead of taking the grab, that would have done significantly less damage. They are now taking a full combo, which will kill them. Like, I know we usually jest about taking the throw, but versus Lancelot, it's really just better to take the throw. I hope this helped. I think this is like a cute little demo.